Welcome, everybody, to the 8:05 post show to break down the opening day of competition for the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach. Ton of lay days. You can see the Hawaiian Water Patrol making their grand exit. Incredible job for the entire crew, taking care of our lineup, our spectators, and setting up some big heats for the round of 32, and had to make our first eliminations today as some of our competitors are already moving on towards Portugal for stop number 3 of the season. Thanks for being with us, Joe Turpel, Jesse Mendez, and Felicity Palmatier. Jesse, always fun to get started when Sunset is showing some power and some big sections to work with. Every heat wasn't always easy to find the right waves, but saw a lot of great competition today.
Yeah, definitely. There's amazing tube rides that went down. Jordy had an amazing tube ride, John, and there's an amazing rail game as well. And we come here expecting for big walls, big turns, and we got some.
Exactly, Flick. I know you love these big playing fields at Sunset Beach. What really impressed you the most today?
Oh, look, especially when you come to Sunset, I think you expect to see a lot of turns, a lot of rail surfing and power surfing. We saw that today, but I was just surprised with how many barrels were going down. It was a barrel fest out there today.
Gosh, so many good barrels. You know, John got on a roll. Even Kelly started using the barrel. Caio Ibelli seems like a magnet, Jesse, out there at Sunset.
I think Kelly mentioned in the post-heat interview, he said Kyle's good at getting good waves everywhere, but here he has a special, intimacy with the wave, and he nailed it. He killed it. That was it.
That was it. Winner of the last heat, Seth Moniz, standing by with AJ.
Yeah, Seth, really excited to get a heat win here in 2024. Doing it in the elimination round is not obviously the round that you want to be in, but when you have a moment like this where you get the heat win, how does that help propel you forward in the competition?
Just a little momentum, some confidence there. Just really wanted some opportunity in that heat. The last two events been pretty hard for me, just opportunity-wise. So I'm stoked to get the momentum going. I feel good. My boards I've been practicing out here in pipe all winter long, putting in a lot of time. So I think it's just about timing and getting in the flow at the ocean.
How did all those hours and waves ridden out here at Sunset pay off in this elimination round?
You know what? Today was just wild. Honestly, I've been surfing here for the last 2 months, and I don't think I've seen a day like this out here. Sunset throws everything at you. So, yeah, I'm stoked. Found a couple waves under the guys out there, and, won the heat.
You talked about how much confidence you have in your equipment. What are you riding, and how did it set you up today?
I'm riding a 6.4. It's a SG1 by Marcio at Sharp Eye Surfboards. Thank you, guys. I've been on new equipment this year and just really testing out new boards in Hawaii and new models, so I'm finally finding my feet on them.
Congratulations. We'll see you in the next round.
Thank you.
Thanks, AJ. Next round, we're going to see Seth Moniz have a big matchup with Gabriel Medina. We'll talk about Medina in a moment as we dive into the stories of the elimination round. Pretty crazy when you see some big names, especially world number 1, dealing with this round today, the round you really want to avoid. And Barron said it was kind of a wake-up call. After having a shocker in his first heat, he bounced back big time in the ER.
For sure. I think we were all pretty shocked to see Barron end up in that elimination round. He sort of had a hard heat too. He was coming up against Frederico and Kai Lenny, and obviously we know that Kai does so well. The bigger it gets, the better Kai goes. But yeah, Barron managed to find his feet in this heat. We obviously know he's won out here before as a wild card, so he does really well out here, and yeah, just sort of shaking out those cobwebs for that opening round heat.
Yeah, it looks sharp. I think there was a common theme today, Jesse. You couldn't really plan on anything that you warmed up on. The last month or so out here at Sunset, you kind of had to be very present to find the right waves to move on.
Yeah, you just got to be positive, keep focused, and hope for the best. You was tough out there today.
Barron Mamiya still number 1 in the world, advancing on to the round of 32 with Frederico Moraes. Kikish, always dangerous at Sunset, is hoping to go a long way in this event. We will lose Kai Lenny already from the draw. Always great to see Kai, and can't wait to see him potentially back in the jersey on the CT level. Well, Mamiya and Moraes getting used to each other, because it's going to be a one-on-one heat with both of them once we get into the round of 32. I think we've seen the momentum from Barron. That's clear, right in front of our face. But what about Frederico, Flick? What do you love about him at Sunset?
Oh, I think his surfing goes hand in hand with waves like this. I think back, he's had great performances at J-Bay before, Irisira, so I Bells Beach. I just love his open forehand carve, and yeah, it's going to be dangerous in that next round.
Yeah, he kind of built his reputation on this wave back when it was the final stop of the Triple Crown.
Yeah, totally. He had great results with the back against the wall a few times as well. So he knows what it takes to get a good result here, to get big scores, and he's one of the most dangerous underdogs out here to have.
Well, let's focus on the Medina factor because he was knocked out at Pipeline around a 32. So expecting a big result, then opening round didn't really go his way. He just wasn't connecting with the best waves. Completely flipped that around when he performed this afternoon.
Yeah, the first heat he had something going on that his bottom turns weren't really helping him to get with good speed and good control on the turns, but definitely adjusting on the second round. And check out this turn right here. Just a massive closeout turn, so much power, so much spray, getting rewarded at 7.33, which is a big score for today.
Yeah, that one backhand turn that we saw Gabby pull off, I think, was my single favorite maneuver of the whole day. It was just so critical, it was so late, and also on such a really big section as well. So it's kind of really cool to see Gabby find his feet again. He looks really fired up, and yeah, he's so dangerous out here.
As we see Gabriel Medina moving on into the round of 32. Gabriel Medina does have Seth Bonis, like we mentioned before. Sammy Pupo will move on to take on Jordy Smith in that next round. And we lose Kanoa Singh, local boy, former CT standout. I know he's got some great things coming up for him this year, and great to have him back in the championship tour jersey. It's interesting, though. We do reseed once again in that next round, so we'll see how that shakes up the leaderboard moving forward, or some key matchups to look forward to, like the Gabe and Seth. Goofy versus regular, Hawaii versus Brazil. You know how that one's going to play out.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one, mostly because we have some north swells coming in Butin throughout the night, so it's going to be bigger tomorrow, and that favors a lot Seth. Like, we might see some big barrels tomorrow on the end bow, and yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch that match.
One of the great parts about the 805 post show is wondering who's going to get the Cup Noodles wave of the day. The big man from South Africa showing his special relationship with Sunset Beach Flick.
Yeah, this wave was pretty incredible. I mean, you could see this section here. He pulls in, and this barrel just kept on giving and giving and giving. And it was a really long tube for Sunset. And yeah, he just had a perfect read on this wave. It went through so many deep, it was so deep, and he had to cross through so many different sections here. You could see it even got a little bit crumbly, he just kept on going. I honestly looked away for a second because I didn't think he was coming out, and then all of a sudden he shot out of the barrel. I was like, bah! Should never look away.
Those are the great moments. And really cool to see Jordy just showing how much experience he has out here. He had a lot of surprise makes as well as backdoor. Long, lengthy tube rides, and he's still keeping the magic going for stop 2 so far.
I think you said the perfect word. That wave right there was a little bit of a barrel and a little bit of magic. Like, probably 80% of that barrel, he couldn't see anything. So much chandelier coming down. He was so deep, and he somehow pulled it off. That was impressive.
Well, we expect a guy like Jordy to have his boards just dialed for an event like this. He's been around a long time, but what about a rookie like Cole Hausman? Let's get an inside look on his quiver for Sunset Beach.
This is the Sunset board. A little thinner than the pipe boards, a little flatter deck, a little more closer to a shortboard almost. A little bit of area in the nose, not so gunny up there. Gives you some drive off the front foot, keeping the nose a little wider. And still a bit of concave in between the feet, which keeps some rail rocker between the feet. A little turning point, a little fulcrum. And with Cole, you know, he's so big and strong, he doesn't need a ton of rocker. So there's not too much bend out the tail, so you can really just push and drive. Plenty of nose rocker so it doesn't catch. You know, flat rail to rail up here, not too much concave. But plenty of bend here. Like, once you get up in front of his front foot, it bends away. So as soon as he puts pressure on it and turns, it's going to redirect. It doesn't track out to the shoulder. That's the thing backside at Sunset, is to stay in the pocket. That bottom turn has to come all the way up. So you don't want too flat of a board. You need some curve so you can bring it up and stay in the pocket and do what the criteria asks for. Most of the guys are riding boards a 1/4 inch thinner than yours, you know. So, and just always focus on the radius of the board. Like Sunset has a bigger bottom radius. You know, yours is almost like I would call it like a silver, the radius of a silver dollar. You know, or almost like a ping pong ball, right? Whereas the other guys and girls, you know, from 150 to 180 pounds, their radius is like a 50-cent piece or something.
Yeah, crazy.
And yours is just, but it feels proportionally the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like an egg rail. It's just like a nice.
No, they feel really
radius.
good.
It's at its biggest, right where the rail rocker is at its curviest. So the apex of the rail rocker, you cut through it with a soft rail tuck, and that allows the kind of three-dimensional through the water performance kind of surfing. These boards also have a thicker stringer called 4-ply. It's got 4 individual plies glued together. It's almost a 1/4 inch, I would say. So it gives a little more resistance under your feet, like all the G-forces with your size and those giant waves turning. It doesn't flex out and kind of roll.
Right.
So it gives you more stability as well.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's good to know.
And it allows us to do a little lighter glass drop and still keep some inertia and weight built into the surfboard. We're pretty happy with that.
Pretty crazy. So much goes into it. Awesome.
Okey-dokey.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay.
Appreciate it, always.
Only your shaper's allowed to like whack your board like that and touch it as much as Matt Bailes was there, right? He'd be the only one. If anyone else did that, you'd be like, "What are you doing?"
I'm sure he was cringing inside himself. It's like, are you serious? Are you doing that? Some magic board?
Bailes, obviously, Vissla CT Shaper of the Year from last year, and happy to have more people on tour like Cole Hausman, who has Jack Robinson in the round of 32 as a matchup flick.
Wow, that is one heavy-hitting heat, and obviously we know Jack's had success out here in the past, but wow, some of the turns that I've seen Cole put together, and even in one of his heats today, I was like, whoa, if he would have done 2 of those turns, it would have been in the excellent range, so it's definitely going to be a heat to watch.
Also, Jack knocked out early at pipe for his standards. You know, we'll definitely want to get past the rookie.
Yeah, Jack navigates through this waters as good as anyone. Like, the way he's able to identify good waves, put himself in great positions in the lineup. It's impressive, and his surfing in big conditions. The bigger it gets, it's the type of guy that it's like you said about Kyle Lanny. The bigger it gets, the more comfortable the guy would be. So it's an amazing heat.
We've heard a lot of talk around the area that it's going to get bigger tomorrow. Kevin Wallace has been here for Surfline, and we're hoping to see some of this size. He said it's already on the buoys as we break down the forecast for the Hurley Pro Sunset Beach Flick.
Yeah, exactly what you're talking about. I had a look at the forecast on Surfline myself, and that swell's already starting to fill in. It's already hit the buoys. We're probably going to see that swell start building through tonight, and tomorrow morning I think it's going to be looking pretty juicy. The period stays sort of similar, but we're seeing a peak in that swell height. So yeah, some big conditions tomorrow. Winds are looking all right, so yeah, buckle up for tomorrow.
Looking forward to that. Also mid-size long period swell coming up as we check the next 4 days, Jesse.
Yeah, and the good thing about it, like as the day goes on, or I mean the few days go on, like this fading swell from the northwest that we had huge conditions the last few days, it's going to start to disappear. So we're probably going to see cleaner conditions and actually seeing sunset turn into that right-hand point break and maybe some big barrels on the inside. It's exciting.
Great. A lot of great looking numbers heading our way. A lot of size tomorrow. And just another note, Monday, our permit doesn't allow us to run on that day, so that'll be a day off from competition. The free surf's going to be going off, and just anticipating fireworks once we get to Tuesday and Wednesday, which could be finals day, Flick.
For sure. I think there's a lot of opportunity Tuesday and Wednesday. It looks really good. The winds are looking nice. The swell drops off a bit. And yeah, I think what you said, Jesse, we might see those long classic rights that we do at sunset.
Here we go. Fun time on the 805 Post Show. The top 5 moments from the opening day of competition. There's a lot to get excited about here, especially if you love Australia and Ethan Ewing's buttery style, getting in the excellent range, an 8-point ride. How about that roundhouse cutback, Jesse?
Yeah, that's impressive. That might be my favorite of the day because you don't typically see that big of a cutback out here. It's so hard to do it. He used every inch of that wave, and only a few guys are actually capable of doing that, and finish it up with the with a crack, a big crack. So that was impressive from him. Beautiful surfing.
Coming in at number 4, Caio Ibelli, tube hunting.
Oh, absolute tube pig out there. He definitely has this special connection with these waves. I even think back to him at Margaret River at the box as well. He just performs and just is able to sniff out a tube. I mean, 7.17 and a 7-point ride. Just beautiful surfing from Caio today. And yeah, looking forward to seeing him take that momentum into the next round.
Exactly. Number 3, Matthew McGillivray. Guy's a hammer.
Yeah, we were actually watching that heat with Felipe, and he was impressed with that layback right there. And that's basically where all the points came in that wave. Not all of it, but a big portion of just identifying that critical section, putting as much as he could into it. Second turn pretty nice, and then finish it off strong.
Well done for McGillivray. Moving on to the round of 32. Number 2 on the list, John John Florence, playing with his lineup at Sunset Beach. 7 and a 7.83 for him.
Yeah, he was definitely playing with it. That's the word. It was funny when he came in from his post-it interview, he said to AJ, you know what, I actually went out there looking for turns, but all I could find was barrels. These waves just kept coming through that would double up and then just allow him to do just that and just completely play with it.
Poor guy, just finding barrels. I don't feel bad for him. Number 1, winning the post show today, Jordy Smith, 9.33, 6.17.
Crazy entry right there, getting lipped, and then all of the rest is basically feel. He couldn't see anything, just all the feeling under his board. Trying to set his braille and go through every bump possible, and then backing it up in the end. It was like right in the end with that huge turn, getting I think around 6-point right. Yeah, 6.17. Yeah, great heat for Jordy. He's stoked.
He's always had that really cool connection with Sunset Beach. I think when we first saw Jordy when he was a young Grom out here, it was hard not to make a Joel Parkinson, comparison, kind of a modern day update, because he's got progression, he's got that smooth style, a great read, and he's doing one for the older crew, Flick. He could go a long way in this event.
For sure, and I think when we saw him at Pipe, I think he's on a good roll. He seemed like he was really fired up. That cut on his foot wasn't stopping him, and then I reckon he's was obviously taking this momentum straight here to Sunset, where his surfing goes hand in hand, so he's looking dangerous.
Watching these guys grow up quickly. Jordy and Kelly have the same birthday. They both just got older, and they're the 2 oldest guys on tour. Kelly now 52, Jordy turned 36. Happy belated birthday. We will be checking in tomorrow morning pretty early, 7:45 call here local time. Enjoy the website till we get there, worldsurfleague.com, for all the athlete updates and all the biggest highlights of the day. We're going to leave you with some of those great moments from the opening day of competition. We'll see you bright and early. This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the written consent of the World Surf League.